Well, I'm laying down already, me and the dogs. There's that girl. There's that girl. Got these baby dogs with me. I don't know what I'd do without them. They get on my nerves sometimes. But I don't know what I'd do without them. Well, I didn't get anything done today. I had started crocheting a hat yesterday, and I only got, about up to here, just all the head top part done. And when you start coming down, you don't add any more stitches. You just put one stitch at each stitch around and around and around until it comes down where you want to fit. Well, this part up here is real big. And I did like he said. I used a size hook like he said. It's way too big, and it's 72 stitches around is just too much. Now, that's way too much, and especially with a bigger hook. I'm using, what is it? Well, I think I'm using an eye hook, but to change 72 stitches to go around the head, that's way too much. Even if you use the normal size H hook, size smaller, it's still way too big with 72 stitches. I don't know why he says to make that many. Now, I've had trouble making another one of his hats before. I just couldn't, it wasn't gonna, the size was not gonna work out. You get the hat about halfway done, and it's real obvious by then that it's either way too small or it's going to be way too big. You can tell by then. After you get just this top part up, all this top part up here done, and you're ready to start coming down the side, you can tell. And it's way too big. Oh God, and it's got them stitches in it, a whole lot of. It's got some front post double and a whole bunch of back post doubles, which are a pain in the butt. Oh, I hate that stitch worse than any other crochet stitch in the world. The back post double. Back post anything. Pain in the butt. And I had to do a whole bunch of them. God. A ton of them. Shit. A ton of them. A whole bunch of them on each row. Around that crayon. All this up here. And it's too big, so I started to pull it all out. And I stopped and thought, no, I'll use a smaller hook, and I will decrease some stitches to where it'll fit better, fit a man's large head. I hate it. I hate that hat already. I think I'm just going to go ahead and frog it. I don't want to mess with it no more. Shoot. Well, I learned a lesson from that. Don't torture yourself trying to make a hat that has that waffle stitch. That's what it is, the waffle stitch. It's a pain in the butt. I think that's what it's called. Pain in the butt. But anyway, I went and looked I went to the page that has all my subscriptions on it, and I went to the notification bell thingy, and I went scrolling through all my subscriptions, and I noticed, dang, hardly any of them had the notification bell turned on. So I went through all of them, each one of them, and had to do like that to turn the notification bell on and scroll it up. Notification bell, touch that, scroll it up. Then I got about 500 subscriptions, it seems like. A whole bunch of them. A whole bunch of good old crochet subscriptions. So I got the notification bells turned on. So we'll see what happens now. You know what I hope? I hope there ain't no dirt in heaven. I don't like dirt, it's filthy. I hope there ain't nothing filthy in heaven. Not a dust mote or anything that's the slightest bit filthy. Any tiny bit of uncleanness, if there ain't none in heaven. I hope that's how it is. I hope we don't have to use the bathroom in heaven anymore. I hope we don't. Oh, I'm ready to be done with the functions of the body. Shoot. After putting up with the body for all these years, sometimes I think it'd be real nice just to go to sleep and stay asleep and just live in dreams while I'm asleep. Tired. I'm tired of dealing with stuff. I'm just ready to relax and rest. I'd like to be comforted. I've always made sure others were comfortable, and it'd be nice if somebody would make sure I'm comfortable. Somebody would be there for me like I was for them. I was there for them. I was. God knows I was. I did what I could. I'd like to make something like a scarf. I really poured into all the videos, checked out all the videos. I didn't watch each entire video. I scrolled through and I checked out parts of a bunch of them were like scarves and shawls and some ponchos and things that he designed himself. Well, he didn't invent the stitch patterns, but he already knew the stitch patterns. But he knows how to finagle stitch patterns and create his own pattern, like for a poncho or a shawl or whatever. He's got the smarts for that. You got to be smart to do that. I mean, even if you're a very experienced crocheter. You got to be real smart to figure out how to do how many of this stitch and that kind of stitch goes here and goes there and wherever, so that it'll come out like this and that. Man, you gotta be smart, and he is smart like that. Gosh. And he made some pretty neat stuff. I saw a sweater he made that I would like very much to make. I would like it very much. I think it's an 8-sided, like an 8-sided shape. You make a great big 8-sided shape, and there's a place there. Somehow there's going to be 2 places where you can crochet your sleeves onto it. And then you just slip it on. After the sleeves are made, you just slip it on. Shoot. I want to make one. Was it a year or 2 ago? Year and a half ago? I don't know. I made that hexagon sweater, and that's nice and cozy. I like it. I don't know if we're going to have any cold weather at all here in West Texas this year. Probably not. I'm going to say we're not, because I just don't see it happening. Oh, it just stays hot here pretty much year round. Mila, I need you to move. You're crowding me. You're crowding me. Mila, move your butt a little bit, honey. Move it. Oh, I got a scratch right there. Now, what was we talking about? I had the scratch right there. That psoriasis is driving me nuts. Anyway, Fiber Spider, something, I think that's the name of his channel. And I highly recommend it. If you like to make things like hats, fingerless gloves, scarves, and shawls, and ponchos, and sweaters and whatnot, and blanket patterns, blankets, Afghans, I call them Afghans. If a blanket is made from crochet or knit, then it's an Afghan. There are quilts, and there are blankets, and there are Afghans, and there are bedspreads, and there are sheets. See, each item has its own name, so when you're talking about it to somebody, they'll know what you're talking about. So I can just say that Afghan. I've been working on an Afghan lately, and they already automatically know what I've been doing. I've been knitting or crocheting. Because an Afghan is a blanket that is knitted or crocheted. So all I got to do is say, I've been working on an Afghan, and they know I've been doing that. Or I could just say, Somebody says, well, what you been doing lately? Oh, I've been quilting. That's all I got to say, and they know what that means. They can say, oh, I've been sewing. Now, sewing, you can all kind of things you can sew. And then they'll ask what you've been sewing. You can tell them what you've been sewing. But everything has a specific name so that people know what you're talking about. And it's just the same thing with, what was it? Calling a crocheted or knitted blanket an Afghan. Call it what it is, an Afghan, and then it's automatically known how it's made. Or if you just say quilt, then they'll already know what that's made or made of. How it's made. Or if you say blanket, then that's something that is woven, whether it's woven from wool or cotton or whatever, linen or whatever. If it's woven, it's called a blanket, and it's heavy, thicker than garment cloth, then it's called a blanket. Especially since the industrial age, when machines started making blankets, store-bought blankets. Blankets were made out of wool for the longest time. They started, I don't know when they started making them. Cotton, I don't know. But yeah, there's blankets that are made out of cotton. I've got one that's kind of thick and real dense and heavy. It's pure cotton in there in the laundry room, stored in there. And it's thick and heavy duty. It kind of looks and feels like wool, but it's not wool. I've washed it and I have dried it in a dryer, and it didn't shrink one little bit. It's cotton, and you can tell it's cotton by the look of it and the feel of it. But I don't remember where we got that blanket. But when it gets wet, it's real heavy. Oh my God, it weighs a ton. I cannot wash it in the washing machine here at home. When it gets dirty, I have to take it to the laundromat and put it in the front end loader, because it is so heavy when it gets wet. And it's a big old blanket. I think it's made for a queen-size bed. It's big. It's just solid white. That's all it is, solid white. And the corners of it are kind of rounded off a little bit instead of just being straight corners, like that. They're kind of rounded a little bit. It's a nice blanket, good quality. I've never seen one like that one before in my life, as a matter of fact. But I remember for a long, long time now, them making acrylic blankets. For a long, long time, they've made acrylic blankets for beds. When the industrial age started, those fibers like that, fake fibers, started being invented. Then they started making satin. And they're satin blankets, satin covered blankets that have something inside of them, I don't know what. But they're satin covered blankets. I remember them old things. I didn't like them. I don't like the feel of satin on the bed or in the bed. I just don't like it. It's not natural. I don't really like anything but cotton. Really. Cotton's healthy. It's pure and natural. And it's healthy. And the uses of it are so vast. Cotton is a blessing from God. God created cotton for us to use. He knew we would need it. He knew, and I'm thankful to God that He created cotton for us. I love cotton. I sure do. Good old cotton. Do you know that there are some cotton fields? Not a lot, but a few. Just a few. Right outside, just right outside the town of Imperial, Texas. My childhood home. My family's original hometown. Imperial, Texas. And there's some cotton fields there. And there's a real super old barn, 2-story and big, huge barn, tin covered barn that was built out over there in this one place decades, many decades ago. God only knows how long ago. Shoot. Might be from the 1940s or 50s, I don't know, the old rusted out cotton gin machine sitting out there. It's neato. I love it. And that's been sitting there since I was born. And it's still sitting there. And every time we drive through town there, I get to look at that. That's part of my childhood home. There's still a few old places still standing around there. It's all slowly disappearing. The old houses, I hate to see them go. I really do. I miss my granny so bad. I miss my mom and dad being together and my brothers. I miss that. I miss our kinfolks all being together. That was so wonderful. That was so wonderful. I miss my kinfolks. My granny. Granny made quilts. She made quilts from their old clothes. She didn't waste anything. She made pot holders from their old clothes too. She called them pot rags. And I like to call them pot rags too. Even if they're new and fancy, I still call them pot rags. I miss Granny. Granny was a good old gal. She was good, wonderful. She was a good person and a good Christian. She was true blue. She was the real McCoy. She was a rare person. There's not very many people in the world like my granny was. There's not very many. They're very rare. Hardly anybody is as good as my granny was. And that ain't just me talking. That's all the kinfolks that ever knew her, and everybody outside the family that ever knew her. Everybody said that she was a saint. And she was. She was a saint. My granny was a saint. Now that don't mean that she was as perfect as God or something like that. No, she was a human being. You know, she fell short of the glory of God, too. Like us, she was a sinner that had to be saved by grace. Like us. But she was still, compared to how most of us are, she was a saint. Compared to the rest of us, is what I'm saying. And she was a saint. And I believe that my dad's stepmother was a saint too. Nettie Lou. My dad's parents got divorced. And Granny, she never did get remarried. That was Granny Joyner. Joyner was her married name. Her maiden name was Popno. And she never got remarried again. Yes, she did. She did. She remarried a guy named Freeman. So after that, of course, her last name was Freeman. Granny Freeman. So, now what was I talking about? What was it? What was it? I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, we're talking about Granny being a saint. Yeah. Imperial was my childhood home, or my early childhood home. My family started there. My mom and dad went to school there. Imperial, Texas, was from the time that was both in grade school. That little tiny town. That town does not have a stoplight in it, not one. It never has had. That's how tiny that town is. It has stop signs here and there throughout the town, yeah. It does, and it has one major stop sign where a kind of a in-between town roads goes through there. So, but otherwise, there's no stoplight there. It's so tiny. And the town always seems to stay, the population always seems to stay fairly much the same. Because the old houses are getting old and rotted, and some are falling down, some being torn down, and then you'll see over here and there, over there, somebody's building a new house, you know. And a lot of the old houses are still occupied. Real old houses, and they're still occupied. I like that. But Granny's not there, and it's a terribly lonely feeling. Even just thinking about Imperial now, just thinking about it, it's a terrible lonely feeling to me because Granny's not there. She was the hub of our family. She was the hub of our family. Our immediate family and our extended family. Granny was the one that made our family, all of us, family all together. She was the spiritual glue, and she was the love that made us all one big family, even among extended families. She was the hub of our family. And when she passed away, everybody just kind of drifted apart from each other. Everybody just gradually moved one person way over here and one way over there, and we hardly ever see each other anymore. I hate it that it's that way. I don't want it to be that way. I miss family. I miss family. Life is a lonely, lonely thing without family. Paul's family's all way back in West Virginia, and my family's over in Central Texas. Which, in a way, is not that far, but in a way it is, because oh God, it's hard on us older folks traveling like that, me especially. Plus, the traffic is so horrible. It's so overpopulated over in Central Texas. It's just nerve-wracking. For me, it's nerve-wracking. I don't want to go over there in that traffic. I just can't hardly handle it anymore. I get more and more nervous as I get older. And I just can't hardly handle traffic. Even riding around town here with my husband, this little town here, I get nervous. I can't help it. I was nervous driving to Walmart the other day, and so I had road rage. I don't think that's good. I don't think that's good at all. I don't know why, but I just don't have the confidence. I mean, when I'm driving and there's no cars around, that's no problem, of course. When there's other cars around, it just gets on my nerves, like, all right, what are you going to do? All right, don't pull out in front of me, just hold on. Or, I mean, I'm worrying about whatever other car is going to do, because you never know. You never know when somebody might pull out in front of you or something like that. And then you got to be careful yourself that you don't cause an accident. You know, you have to watch out for yourself too. And it just makes me nervous. It's like, dang, I just gotta watch everything at one time. And, I like to drive. It's just the dang traffic I can't handle. Driving itself ain't no problem. I just need everybody to stay off the road, just stay out of the way. See, that's how it needs to be. And the years have gone by so fast. God, it's scary how fast the time goes by. I remember being a little kid, a carefree little kid. It was great. It was great compared to how it's been being an adult. And now all of a sudden I'm getting old and decrepit. Nothing you can do but laugh about it, because, I mean, what else you gonna do? Even though it's terrible and it's horrible. Might as well laugh about it. Do y'all remember that comic magazine called Mad Magazine? My oldest brother would buy them sometimes and bring them home after school. He'd stop at the little convenience store and he'd buy one now and then, bring it home, and after he had it a couple of days and read through it real good, he'd lay it aside somewhere, and then I'd get it and I'd look through it. And that was really interesting, them Mad magazines. Now the artwork and the comedy, and the goofy way they drew those caricatures. I really liked that. and the satire and the sarcasm and jokes and the crazy, all kind of crazy stuff. That was a good magazine. That was pretty cool. It was pretty good. It had all kind of good, crazy, goofy stuff in it. It was a dang good comic magazine. I miss all the comic books that I had bought and collected. I wish I still had them. Wish I had my old comic books. Richie Rich. Dagwood and Blondie, I had one of them. And Little Audrey and Little Dot. And there was another one. Can't remember what her name was. It was another one. Comic books, and Casper the Friendly Ghost, and Sad Shack. I didn't understand a darn thing about the Army, but for some reason I liked that comic book. I liked that stuff about a sad sack for some reason. that sergeant would be yelling at him, getting on his case, and old sad sack would just plod along and go do what he had to do. Richie Rich. Seemed like there was another one too. I had several Gothic comic books. Gothic. Several of them Gothic horror comic books. And there was something else too. Might have been Snuffy Smith. Something like that. If only I could remember. I don't know, but I had a pretty good collection of comic books, and I liked looking through them and stuff. They sure don't make comics like they used to. Nobody makes them like anything like they used to, which is a shame. Comics nowadays is it's been a long time since anybody's come up with any good comics, any good artwork for the comics, artwork style or anything. Shoot. I don't want to remember too much from my childhood because there was a lot of bad. But I liked my toys and I liked my comic books. And we loved watching cartoons. And we liked to watch Star Trek. And on the weekends, I think it came on Sunday, Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. We looked forward to watching that every weekend. That was always interesting. They always had some educational video narrated about different kind of wild animals. That was interesting. It was always interesting. And there were some other shows that would come on every day after school. It's called the After School Special. There would be like a movie made about kids and for kids. So when kids got up at home from school, that show would come on that time of the afternoon, round about when all kids would be getting home from school, so they could watch that movie. After school special would be whatever kind of a movie for kids and about kids. And it was interesting little movies for us kids to watch. We watched Mr. Magoo and the Jetsons and the Flintstones, Porky Pig and Goofy and Donald Duck and all them. A bunch of other ones, a whole bunch of other cartoons. We watched a lot of them. I still like to watch a cartoon now and then. just let yourself relax and just enjoy it being just a cartoon and not take it anything serious. Just something you can just relax and enjoy, get a kick out of it, you know. We need to be able to relax once in a while. For me, it's hard to relax. I'm tense all the time. So on the rare occasions that I'm able to actually relax and enjoy something that's, oh God. I live for those moments, those little brief moments of relaxation and joy are like a little bitty oases in a vast, vast desert. That's what my life seems like to me. I'm just going through this vast, vast desert, barely existing, struggling to make it each day. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. Struggling. I don't know how to not struggle because I'm getting so weak physically and feeble that it's a struggle to try to do anything, every little thing. I mean, every little thing. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. I just don't have much strength anymore. And I don't have the steadiness and the nimbleness in my hands that I used to have. So that there also makes it harder to do things. So, and it's scary. It's scary to feel like you're slowly becoming helpless. It is a scary feeling. It's a feeling of doom. Getting old is like, it's like a crisis. you go through a crisis. Because you have to face your own mortality. And that's why I hang on to the Lord Jesus Christ. There ain't nothing else. Well, I'm starting to relax some now. My toes are cold. Oh, sometimes my fingers and toes will get ice cold. Ooh, like the blood's not flowing through them. My little brother told me, he said, same thing happens to him too, every day, every evening. They just turn to ice. Our circulation's getting weird. I'm freezing right now. If I go turn that fan off, then I'll get hot. I can't hardly get comfortable. I've got, I think, one last blood pressure pill to take. And I don't think I have any more refills. This new doctor that I had to see the last time, she didn't want to okay me a refill last time I was there. And there was no sense in her doing that. There was no reason for it, because here I am needing a refill on my blood pressure pills, and I need a refill on my thyroid pills. I'm out of thyroid pills. And several days ago I called the clinic and left a message with them to check, get with my doctor, leave a note for my doctor to call the pharmacy and okay me some prescriptions. And I've never heard back from any of them. So I don't know what the hell to do. Shit. Yeah, it's no wonder I can't relax. I have to worry about something all the time. Shit. Well, I tried making a dump cake today. It didn't turn out good. I mixed up a white cake mix and poured it in the pan, and then dumped out a can of blueberries all over top of that, and baked it, and it didn't get done good. It was real doughy around, and then it was still raw, and all in the middle it was still raw. It was, shit, it just didn't cook right at all. And it's because of that dang lousy toaster oven. We don't have a real regular stove in this house to cook on. So we have to use a lousy toaster oven. It ain't the same. Shit. Shit. You know, right before we moved into this house, the landlady offered to get a stove out of storage and put in this house for us to use. And it was for a gas stove. And my husband told her no. And he didn't explain to her why, but I think I know why. And that's why I didn't say nothing. I went along with it because that time the trailer house caught on fire. And that fire had burned under the house just a little ways from where the propane line come into the side of the house. We was about this close to getting blown up from that propane line and that fire coming towards it. We sprayed under the house with the garden hose, and thank God we got that fire put out under there. But it scared us half to death. So the house wasn't, we couldn't live there no more. My husband bought a camper. You know, one of them RV camper. Campers, and we lived in that for a couple of years, and then started renting this house. It's scary to think that if something was to happen to us and we couldn't pay the rent, we would be homeless. That scares me. That's an insecure feeling. I don't like it. And that's a little something that worries me in the back of my mind, off and on, because I know it's always a possibility. I just keep praying that God will help us through. God, help us through this world. Oh, this world is a nightmare. All the horrible things that can happen, all the horrible things that do happen. Look at what all them people they've been going through. West Virginia, part of North Carolina. Parts of Tennessee, Appalachia. Man, it boggles my mind to think about all that. It's mind-boggling. It's horrible what happened to those people. Absolutely horrible. Anything could happen to any of us at any time. Anything could happen. This world ain't safe anymore because we're in the end times. And the times get shorter and shorter. And the disasters will keep getting worse and worse. The disasters. The political upheavals. All the craziness that's going on in the world. Craziness of all kinds. It's a nightmare. This world is a dangerous and a scary place. There's no future here. There's no future here. The only hope is through Jesus, the Lord Jesus. He's our only hope. There's nothing else. There's no other Savior. But thank God He's there. Thank God He's there. I miss my granny so much. I miss her so much. I want to see Granny again. I want to see my family again. Mom and Dad and all my aunts and uncles and great aunts and great uncles and cousins and brothers and nieces and nephews and on and on. And my daughter and my grandkids, etc., etc. I want us to all be together. I want us to all be together. Well, I think I'm gonna listen to some bluegrass and get ready to go to sleep. And I'll talk to y'all later. Good night, y'all.